Hey guys, Coach Ben here, and you are listening to the
Benchas.
And our guest today is Zach Jones. He's one of my online lifters, and he came all the way from Oklahoma.
Not
I
Texas.
I keep saying Texas, but it's actually Oklahoma. I mean, the two are pretty close, right? I'm not good at geography, but
Yeah,
You're
sort
right.
of.
Well,
They're
2
like
hours,
on
you
top
said?
of each other.
All right.
Yeah, about 2 hours to the border.
We got the similar region.
I know New
Right.
York, I know California, everything in between. I don't know.
Right.
Florida, I know where that is.
Yeah,
But that's about it. How was your flight over here?
it was pretty good. Not too bad at all.
Not
Still
bad? You ready to fall asleep on the plane or whatever?
do my
I
best.
can't sleep on planes. Forget it.
Oh,
I can't either.
I am not
Really?
sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm fearful for my life when I get on a plane. I'm just thinking of every single thing that can go wrong. Just because the thing is, if something happens to you on the ground, it's going to happen quick. You're not even going to see it coming. But if something happens to you in a plane, not to freak you out because you're flying tomorrow, it's a long way down. You know?
Oh.
So you got a good 2 minutes to contemplate what's about to happen.
You know,
Not to freak you out.
you know he's gonna fly back, right?
He's flying
Yeah.
back tomorrow.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I was supposed to get my connecting flight in Charlotte, so I had to call and say, yeah, I'm not doing that. Can I go somewhere else? So it's going through Dallas. The past 6 flights I've had through that airport, either been canceled or delayed or something like that.
Yeah,
so
it's always a pain in the ass.
I'm used to either sleeping on the plane, sleeping in airports, or
You don't
Yeah.
have a choice. You gotta sleep sometime and you get it done on the plane.
Yep.
So how's New York? And you've been here before, right?
yeah.
How many times you visited now?
This is my 6th, I think.
6 times.
Yeah.
All right. So you've been here quite a bit of times. How do you like the city? Because you're usually in the city for work, right?
Yeah. So like
You'll
the
be
past
honest-
times I've
be honest
always
with us.
been in Lower Manhattan. I'm in Midtown this time.
All right.
It's not bad, really.
What things
it's-
do you like about it, and what are some things you don't like as much?
So I like the history part of it.
Okay.
So in college, I majored in history. So the historical aspect, especially being down on Wall Street, stuff like that, I find that really cool.
Yeah.
And whatever. The crowdedness kills me. Though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that get me too.
Right.
Especially if they're doing some construction near a building or whatever, and they block off some of that sidewalk, you're just in a massive crowd of people. I remember going one year to see the Christmas tree. We were actually talking about that a little bit earlier. I like to go every year, see that big-ass tree they put out there. And I have never seen a place so crowded for such a big area. I was literally just rubbing up on people. Especially if you go near Christmas time, you are just rubbing on people.
Yeah.
You actually have whoever you're with, you're holding them because you will just get separated. Everyone is just rubbing on you, and I can't stand it because you're in these winter clothes, and you're already so hot. You're around people, but then when you get away, it's cold again. So it's just it's a horrible mix. You want
Right.
to take everything off. You're just rubbing on people. But I definitely hear you there.
Yeah.
Definitely hear you there.
Like out of all the cities I've ever been to, I'd say New York is the most compact whenever it comes to people.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm sure that's the truth if you look at the population.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
They
Go.
fit so much in that little area of Manhattan.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. Like
Too much
when
for me.
you're walking downtown and you can't even see the sun because the buildings are so tall.
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
You know?
The shock value at first, someone coming from Massachusetts, it's pretty crazy. I remember we took my dad out there. I don't know if it was his first time ever, but he got out of the subway and he looked up and just I've never seen him just so puzzled, just looking around where the hell am I? That's kind of how I was too. It's just the shock value at first. These big buildings. Now I'm pretty used to it.
Yeah.
But I think Boston's more my pace. A lot of sports fans, just more area.
More spread out.
You don't know where you're driving though. We went down a 4-way road once, but so I wanted to get into. You came by tonight. We did some training. That went really well. You got up to a 435, a 2 board. So we did some little bit of HQ training. It was nice having you out here, being able to visit. Coming from out in Oklahoma, I always try, at least when I'm traveling, to visit our lifters on the team. But it was nice you were able to come out here in business, make the trip out. And you're a sure to bench. You're a quick guy. Do you do any full power stuff, or is it mostly bench now?
It's mostly bench.
Okay.
Yeah.
We like you here then.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I train in squatting and deadlifting every now and again.
Mhm.
Really, it's just so I can keep my leg strength up for benching.
Yeah, and we've
You know.
been putting that in your programming lately.
Yeah.
Getting in some deadlift and squat work, because it does hold a lot of value.
Yep.
You know, at least keeping up with your leg strength, keeping your hips good.
Mm-hmm.
It's always really important to go through those movements.
Yeah.
So, you're a multiply guy, and we've had some people on the show that compete equipment. But for those who don't know, yeah, it's that tight compression shirt. Typically, if you watch my lifts at all too, is that's what I'm using is the bench shirt. It's just another division of lifting, and you've been doing this for a while. You've been doing like raw lifting, and you transitioned over to multiply. When did you do each?
I've actually only competed in shirted,
Oh,
so I've
since
never
forever.
competed. Yeah,
Never raw.
never raw. No.
Interesting.
Well, whenever I first started powerlifting, which was in October of 2000, is when I started this. There wasn't raw powerlifting. It was a geared or nothing.
Mhm.
You know, raw powerlifting didn't come around until I think it was 2007, 2008, which is about the same time that I was stepping away from actually competing.
Yeah.
So now that I've come back in, you know, what, year and a half, 2 years ago or so, like I just stepped right back into a shirt and never went into raw.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that because it's such a big boom now.
Right.
That powerlifting is just so, I wouldn't say mainstream. It's not on ESPN or nothing, but way bigger than it was.
Definitely picked up a lot of popularity.
Or, you know, I
Yeah.
also hear too, maybe it's not as big now as it was, but with social media like it is now, you're just seeing it so much too.
Mhm.
But either way, it's definitely grown. And no one really knew what equipped lifting was. They shook it off, made fun of it, and whatnot for quite a while. Now I'm seeing the transition back over into multiply. And then no one really realizes that back then, when you were competing in early 2000 and whatnot, it was only gear lifting.
Yeah.
There was no raw. Mark Henry, I know, Adam on our team, he referenced Mark Henry as being one of the first dudes just to do these lifts raw and actually compete with the multiply guys.
Mhm.
But that wasn't a thing. And
Right.
now most people, I think it's just simplicity of it, because when you're multiply, you need all these people around you, you know, keep you safe and help you with the shirt. I didn't tell you I was helping you get the belt on. You know,
Yeah.
It's hard to even get a belt on yourself. But, yeah, a lot of people don't even realize that, but it wasn't around, and that you've been competing in the shirt this whole time, and it's just what you're used to.
Yeah. Yeah, and
What draws you to the shirt rather than raw?
the weight.
The weight.
Yep. Pushing the bigger
Honest
weight.
answer.
Why
Yeah.
lift less when you can lift more?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and like I started out with it, that's what I know. You know, everybody that I ever competed with, that's all they've ever competed in up until recently. Now, the guys I work out with now all compete raw. I'm the only shirted bencher
Oh, that's interesting.
that we have. But before then, I mean, it was geared or nothing, you
They
know?
don't see what you're lifting, and then they want to do that too. They don't get intrigued.
Every now and again. Okay, so one of the guys I compete with, he started working out maybe 4 years ago with us, right? So he's in his mid-50s, and he did his very first meet back in May. And all he does is deadlift. So he doesn't...
Sounds
yeah.
like my kind of guy.
Yeah. So he just deadlifts, and his first meet was in May. We did a meet down in Dallas at the beginning of August, and he actually deadlifted in a multiply suit. So,
Right, so
and
he's transitioning over a little bit.
yeah, I think so. And I think with him, he's like, well, you know, with my age and everything else, records in the organization that we're in, I think it's around 500. He's like, dude, I can do this in a suit. Why not just break it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Let's
of
do
course.
it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well, right? What do you think intrigued his interest? It was probably that record, and he just started just saying, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's-
I see a lot of people in the gym that they'll see me or someone else try on a bench shirt for the first time, and they're like intrigued by what it is, and you know it's not slingshot, and they wanna go for it, and they see that you can actually compete in this, whereas like a slingshot you can't compete in, and then they get intrigued by that, and then I've just seen it kind of grow. Then I said the trouble is that you need to have a crew around, so I'm seeing it grow within crews. If you're at a commercial gym, you're kind of limited with what you can do. But definitely within these strength crews out there, and I'm seeing a lot more of that too. Just people getting together with other like-minded powerlifters, even if it is a commercial gym, and adopting more of this equipment, which has been definitely really interesting.
Whenever I transitioned out of the gym that I was in, or that I'm in now, so I started there in 2000, and then about 2008, life got in the way, and me and another guy transitioned to a commercial gym. And so it was just us as powerlifters, commercial gym, and we'd been benching in shirts for years by that point. And he's like, man, I don't like the stares that we're getting in here. He's like, everybody looks at us like we're nuts and this and that. So, like, just basically got out of shirts for a decade and then back in.
Yeah, that's how it goes. I mean, you're going to get a lot of looks. Even when I'm telling lifters, hey, throw on a yoga mat, throw on bands on this bench, because literally you're not going to be able to do anything that we're talking about unless you do that, because you need that traction to the pad, and just the looks you might get from throwing a yoga mat on the pad.
Right.
No one really understands that. But, that's what you get at commercial gym. It's just a blend of all different lifting types. And mostly lifters just going in there, kind of bodybuilding style, how we all started pretty much. I know when I originally started, it was I was on the go in and max out program, and that worked for deadlifts. That got me to my 400, but then I quickly realized once I kept smashing my back to pieces that wasn't too smart. But that's how we all started out, right?
Yep.
I mean, is that your experience? You just kind of go on the max out every week program starting out?
So a little bit.
Did you fall into a fortunate circumstance where you had like some coaches around or a good training crew that helped you on?
So I actually started lifting when I was 15, and I got all of my lifting knowledge from Flex Magazine and Muscle Mag and anything else I could get. So I was always reading, well, here's a great program for your arms, here's a great one for your back or chest or whatever, and then so I kind of went down that road as well. I want to be a bodybuilder, and then I quickly figured out I don't have the genetics for this.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
Yep. And then just kind of fell into powerlifting from there.
Yeah,
so.
I went a similar route. Like I wanted to bodybuild, read Arnold's encyclopedia. I think everyone has that.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has to have that. That kind of gets you into lifting. And so I started bodybuilding, I guess, and then I realized I'm just kind of fat. I'm just going to keep embracing it and lift a lot more. And that went a lot better. So, definitely understand you there. There's no social media back then.
Yeah.
This is I don't want to date you too much. Is this pre-internet? Like I don't know when the internet started popping out.
Very close. Yeah.
Very close, right?
Yeah. So
I mean, not like it was today. You got Facebook, all these YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Lots of ways to learn.
Right. Yeah. So like whenever I went to college, I guess it was when blogs really started up, right? So I started getting more information about powerlifting and technique from looking at Elite FTS when it first started, but then I think it was Bench Monster actually had a blog, and there were a lot of powerlifters on there that were talking about technique and saying, hey, go look at this article that's in Powerlifting USA and a few other things. And so like I really started digging in there and learning, but yeah, it wasn't anything like it was now. I mean, I remember when E-Bombs World came out.
YouTube didn't get big till like 08.
Yeah.
Then you started getting like actual people on there.
Right.
Really not too long ago.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Like, I think the first videos on there were of street fights, if I'm not mistaken. I
All
remember.
kinds of weird
100%.
stuff. Just weird stuff people wanted to watch was entertaining.
It's like someone's like 8-second clip on their like, potato phone.
Yeah, that's what it was. Powerlifting USA was a really big thing.
Yeah, it was.
And I really enjoyed because I worked at Barnes & Noble for quite a while. And I remember just picking up issue after issue on my break and just reading them. And they were really interested, and that's how you found out about the rankings. There was no ranking system online.
Oh, yeah.
It was Powerlifting USA.
Yep.
And I wish that magazine was still around. That was like really cool. Being on the cover of some of those guys and just the articles about them.
Right.
It's too bad that kind of went away.
Yep. And they talk about technique and nutrition when nutrition for powerlifting was, basically how many cheeseburgers can I eat?
Yeah, that sounds like my diet. Works.
Yeah.
I was just telling you, I definitely cleaned some things up as of recent, but I was telling you earlier too how I gained 30 pounds to just tighten up my shirt instead of just getting a new shirt. I was like, I'm going to gain some weight. And those shakes I was making, easily 3,000 calories before bed.
Yeah.
But the lifts went up. So like you said, your health tanks, your lifts go up. Whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So you travel a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about how you're just always going about. What do you do for work again?
So I'm a healthcare IT consultant. Short way of explaining it to people is I make up a bunch of stuff. I make it sound really good. That's my job.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
So you got to travel a lot for that, right?
Yeah.
And how long you gone at a time? I know you've been here for a week.
It varies. Sometimes I'm in and out on the same day. Sometimes, like this week, I flew in on Monday. I'm flying out tomorrow, which is Friday. Week before last, I flew into Iowa on Sunday. I didn't leave until I think it was Friday night or so. And it just kind of depends on contracts and what our clients need and want.
So that's got to pose a really interesting situation in terms of lifting, because you're just so invested in your lifting, but you're always out traveling. It's got to be hard because you're not always there with your normal crew.
Right.
Oftentimes you're probably going to commercial gyms.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you deal with not only finding places, but just the motivation that comes with that, getting yourself, when you're out in an unfamiliar place, getting yourself to want to even go to the gym and train? How do you deal with that stuff?
So, like, I make this a priority. Like we were talking about earlier, when I first met my wife, I had told her from the very beginning, look, powerlifting is who and what I am. Like, I can't separate myself from what I do whenever it comes to powerlifting, right? So that's going to be a priority, and I carry that over into traveling. So a lot of people, whenever they travel, they'll do one of two things. They're either going to go to dinner and go right back to their room and stay. Like, I don't know how many people I've traveled with. That's what they do.
That's usually the norm, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Or you have those who'll go out and sightsee and whatever, which I try doing on my non-workout nights.
Yeah.
But I will actually book my travel around my workouts.
Okay.
So let's say I have to be at a client on Tuesday, right? I'll fly in on Monday, and then I don't care how early Monday morning I have to leave, as long as I can be in the city or wherever I'm going to be at by 3 o'clock, so I can be in a gym by 5.
All right. So you're just so deeply invested in this sport and competing, and it's just what you've been doing for so long that, I guess you don't even need to search for any motivation. It's just you're going to find a way to get it done.
Yeah. So, okay, last night when I was in the city, right, like I really, really wanted to go out and sightsee. Like I wanted to play the tourist thing. Mm-hmm. Then it started raining, and there's a New York Sports Club, I think, right across from my hotel. So I'm staring at it. I'm like, I can go buy an umbrella and I can sightsee, or I can actually go over here to the gym and do my leg workout, which is what I'm probably supposed to do. And it took me about 15 minutes to actually make that decision to go to the gym. But
That's tough. You got all that stuff you could potentially be doing too, and it's like training's and like it's just an everyday. It doesn't really matter what gym you're in. It's not like you're sightseeing the gym. So it's just another day at work. So
I'm sure
like
a lot of those gyms
twice.
you don't want to sightsee twice.
a lot of them no.
Now, some gyms are cool. Like I'm going out in Texas in October, and I'm definitely going to try reaching out to Tiny Meeker and try to at least try to get down to his gym, see what I can do there. But definitely making that part of my trip.
Right.
Anytime I can travel, like getting with anyone on our team, meeting up or being able to train in a different gym, especially with a guy like Tiny Meeker, I would love to be able to take advantage of that opportunity. So it sounds like kind of same with you. You're going to try to find those types of gyms or get out to train.
Right.
But do you feel like you get enough out of seeing the city? Like, Part of you wish you went out and saw some things, or are you just satisfied with your training? Like, what's the deal?
Actually, I wish I wouldn't have started raining. Because I've been here, like I said, 6 times now, and like I really haven't been able to see the city that much, because I really didn't care to venture out. And with me being in Midtown, and being so close to Times Square and everything, I was just like, you know what, screw it, I'm actually going to sightsee this time. So it didn't happen. But like sometimes if I'm somewhere else, say, middle of nowhere in Colorado, then I'll make a point to skip a workout and instead do my workout by hiking in the mountains or doing something like that.
Something active.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. So, I mean, it seems like your motivation is just pretty intrinsic at this point. Like, you don't have to really think about that too much, which is awesome. And I'm sure everyone would like to get to those types of places. And it just comes from consistency. You know, you've just been doing it for so long
Right.
that it's just what you're going to do. I know, too, like a lot of people kind of regret not seeing as much as they could have when they had the opportunity to travel. But I mean, you're still, at the end of the day, I mean, it's still work for you. It's just you have the opportunity to be in some new locations. That's pretty
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the end of the day, it is still work. And if you did want to go and travel and sightsee, you could always do that.
Right.
At some other time, vacations,
Yeah.
whatever.
Like if I was taking a vacation to Miami or, going overseas, something like that, then I might do a quick workout in the gym, like the hotel gym.
Mhm.
Other than that, yeah, I'm going to be sightseeing. But whenever I'm traveling for work, yeah, this is coming first.
It's like anyone
So-
else who just goes to the gym right after work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. I do it whenever I come home from work when I'm, back home.
Yep.
So why not do it here?
Your office just changes week by week or so.
Right. Yep.
So I want to ask you, how'd you hear about Big Benches and our whole online coaching program? I think originally you reached out to me, I think via email. You might have been over an Elite FTS article I did.
Yep.
I had some program on that. I feel like that was it, right?
Yeah.
You saw the article and everything?
Yep. So I actually ran across one of your articles in Elite FTS. I think it was last summer. So I've been reading Elite FTS almost every single week for God, I don't know how many years. And then I ran across one of your articles on how to increase your max, and so I've been doing that for about the past year or so, because I know that in order to increase my shirted bench, I have to get my raw bench up, and like I've never been satisfied with my raw bench at all. So I followed your program, got pretty good gains off of it. And then you wrote an article about doing shirted bench, and then at the end of it, you said, "Hey, if anybody who benches in a shirt, you guys have questions, email me." So I thought about it for a while. It actually took me a couple weeks to think about it. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I've got a couple of questions for you. So how will I change percentages here and there?
You
And
were
that's
emailing about making some adjustments.
yeah,
Because I think a good majority of that particular program was geared around raw. It was like a raw peaking cycle. And I think you wanted to see how you could modify it a bit for the shirt. And so I did that for you. So that's interesting. You were reading the articles and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great opportunity because I was reading them for a long time. And I was like, hey, I'm just going to put out some content for everyone, hopefully, impact some people. And it's nice to know, people are reading them, trying to program, so that's really cool.
yeah.
But I just wanted to kind of get some content out there. So then you reached out to start working with our team.
Mm-hmm.
What has your experience been like so far with that?
Dude, I've made more gains over the past couple of months than I have in probably about the past year and a half. Like we were talking earlier, with me coming off a hernia surgery, like I just kind of plateaued. And like I know a lot of that's been mental and everything, but my lifts weren't going up either, right? So whenever I hooked up with you and really started working in a shirt more and whatever, my shirted bench is where it was almost 8 years ago, which it's kind of sad to say. Yeah, it's taken me 8 years to get back to where I was, but after injuries and laying off, I mean, I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
So
time is, I always say, the long game. You gotta
Yep.
be prepared to just be in it for the long haul, and progress will come as progress comes. I think the big thing is just having someone to take the reins a little bit and to push you to that next level is just as important than anything.
Right.
You know, having someone to hold you accountable, be like, we need to push to this level, send out specific things, and because when you train alone and you know, you're left to your own devices, it's tough to just keep pushing ahead, and a lot of it is really mental. A lot of it is very mental. You just kind of need that push. So I think that more than anything has been real important for you. It's just kind of having that extra push.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've been telling you over and over that you're really capable of a lot more than you think you are. And I know you're going to end up seeing that potential. You just got to keep pushing ahead.
Yeah.
What has like the experience of having the coach and everyone on the team to see how's that been so far? Because I know a lot of people versus in person, online's a whole kind of different world with the videos and all that. One thing I like to pride myself on is just trying to give as much technical feedback as possible and deliver it in a way that's like step by step, not giving you too much to think about.
Yeah.
I think that's a problem, is everyone starts to just look at the actual pressing of the movement and never dissects it from the roots, like setting up and all that.
Right.
So how's that experience been? Because I know people are a little hesitant to send in video and then receive that.
I like it. I mean, with me being the only shirted bencher, a lot of times it's really hard for me to get any cues on techniques or anything like that. And so having somebody to actually watch video, to me, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
You know? So
You need that technical feedback.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I think it was Dave Tate that I heard mention that if you want to go to the next level, so if you're an intermediate lifter and you want to go into the advanced stage, then your best bet is to find you a coach. You know, and that's basically where I was at. I was like, yeah, I know that I can compete in the intermediate stage and whatever, but that's not where I want to be. I want to be up there with the big boys. And, like, I've got to take that jump.
Yeah, absolutely. So you came in tonight, and we went over quite a bit. And, you know, I try not to throw too much at lifters. I'm always big on that, but, you know, it's a rare opportunity we get you in here. So, I mean, you see the board here. I made a little checklist of some things definitely wanted to work on. What are some things you took away from tonight's training in general, you know, technical points and all that you're going to continue to work on?
So, really getting the upper back tightness, rolling my shoulders down. Like, that was definitely huge. Like, I can feel that, you know. Especially in a shirt. Rolling down, taking away range of motion, or at least that's the way it feels. You know, to me that's huge.
And for everyone listening, and I guess you can see, if you're watching on the YouTube, you're talking about when you're saying like rolling the shoulders down, you got your pinch and tuck, and then you're taking like literally your shoulder blades, and while you're in that bench setup, you're trying to drive your shoulder blades down towards your hips, and we were doing it to get you to activate. You can feel it lats lock up.
Yeah.
All the way down when you're really doing it. And the thing is, too, on that takeout, you're going to experience that cut and range of motion. I know a lot of people comment on my videos when they see me, I take the weight out and it sinks. It's not from softening the elbows. And I'm always wondering, like, what's that coming from? And that's just traveling out with the weight with your shoulder blades, really tightening up that back as the weight comes out. And you kind of experience some of that today, how that weight almost wants to sink a little bit. And you were saying you feel like even like cut an inch off that range a good amount.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's super huge. Cutting an inch off a range of motion. That's big time. I mean, we talk about all those little details of the setup, and that's just hoping to cut fractions. You know, if you can feel like you cut an inch off a range of motion by that's big time. And I feel a lot of people are missing out on that. You get the leg drive, right? You got the bending of the bar, but a lot of that upper back tightness is missing.
Yeah.
So you connected with that real well today, right?
Yeah, I like that.
So how do you like the environment in here?
Dude.
Smaller area, but we get after it.
Yeah, no, I like it definitely. So.
Yeah, we're set up to bench, and we have some good sessions in here. But it was real great to have you down. I want to talk about a little bit what you're training for next, what you're currently getting yourself into, I believe, in November, right?
Yeah.
Got meet coming up.
Yep.
What's meet is that, and what are some of the goals that you have here in the bench and going forward too?
So the meet that we have coming up in November, it's through USAPL, I think. It's Ricky Del Crane's organization, because he's out of Shawnee, Oklahoma. So the guy that we lift for, who's a gym that we lift in, he's just turned 70, I think. And out of all the trophies this guy has from like 30 years of competing, he doesn't have
a lot of trophies.
Yeah.
I see the videos. It's lined up.
So he doesn't have a team trophy. And so his daughter's going to compete. Her two sons are going to compete, and we're going to try to get him a team trophy. So normally I don't do 3 meets in a year, especially back to back like these have been. But if we can get him a team trophy, then so be it. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So,
that's where powerlifting acts as a team sport.
Yeah.
In a way, it is individual, but if you can create a team environment within it, that's huge. You can't beat that. You need everyone coming together, helping each other out, and that's really awesome what you're doing there, trying to get him a team win. He has a lot of trophies. I'm sure they all mean a good amount to him. There's a few that I'm particularly proud of as well. But the rest are kind of in my basement right now. So you can take some back with you if you want. Because there's so many divisions now too. It's just like I'm getting one every meet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everyone really is. There was a statistic, open powerlifting. They put up how many winners in meets there have been, or how many meets or whatever, and half the people, it was like 500,000 people, and 250,000 that competed had won first place. It was like half. Yeah, I got the statistics there in open powerlifting. Just because the divisions are so sparse.
Right.
I'd actually love to see them just unified a little bit. Like I know at the Arnold, at least for our bench competition there, it's you're under 220, you're over 220. And it is what it is.
Real simple.
Right.
Yeah. And you win or you lose, you're first or you're not. I like that personally. I would rather kind of be chasing and fighting, because just when you earn something, you fight so long to earn something, and something's kept away from you for so long, it just means so much to you too. It's like if you were given a car versus having to work your ass off and save every year for the car. I just love that feeling for having to chase after something, grind it out for a very long time. I'm sure you're probably the same way,
Right.
The reward is in the work you're putting in over time.
Yeah.
But that statistic was really blew
Yeah.
my mind a little bit.
It's insane. Like, I think it's good getting world records here and there. Don't get me wrong. It's a pretty good feeling, right? Whenever you break some type of record. But
even federation records is
right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like the ones where it's the only guy to ever do that. Those are freaking awesome.
Those are sweet.
Yeah.
That's something. That's the actual world record. You did something that no one else ever did.
Right. Yeah.
But there's a lot of Instagram. We talk all the time. Instagram profiles. I see world record holder and this and that, and usually little fed stuff in a specific weight class in a specific division
In a specific age range.
And we were saying, it's something you could be proud of, but it's nice to have to fight and earn for something even bigger.
See, I think that goes into like the raw versus geared thing too. So you have, you hit a world record in this federation, but not in this one, so on and so forth. Then you kind of have you did it in a gear and you didn't do it raw, so it kind of counts, but it doesn't, or whatever. I think it all kind of plays together in a way.
Yeah, there's just so many ways to compete too.
Yep.
That it makes it awesome that you can just compete in so many ways, but it does divide people a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And just the fact that there's like 50 plus different federations drives me nuts. I just want it to be like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And just have a real world championship. I mean, that would be awesome. There's just so much division, which is unfortunate. Because I'm sure if there was just one, then you would get on the sponsors, the TV things, all that would come. Just kind of like the Olympia,
Right.
for bodybuilding. Those guys have an amazing opportunity to really make some money being sponsored and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish that was the same for powerlifting. And more money meets, I'd love to see that.
Right.
You work your ass off, get a nice reward from it. It would really get you to work harder to compete like that. And just the level of competition, I think, would rise tremendously.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like if we could get, whether it's all the federations together or whatever, but basically say, okay, so we can do something along the lines of like a football playoff. So here's all these guys, and then they're going to compete, and we're going to eliminate people till we get to the top 5.
Yeah.
And then we go from there.
Have the best of the best just drop in for a meet at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, I love
exactly.
how USAPL does it. I just wish everyone kind of came together and did it unified. Like regionals, moving on to the different stuff, nationals and all that.
Right.
But, their nationals is like a 5-day festival of thousands of lifters. That's not a national event, but that's a money grabber.
I know Pioneer Fitness is trying to organize something like that.
Really?
They had the tribute powerlifting meet, where it's invitation only, and they tried to get like the best people they could there to just compete. Apparently, it's a great event.
Huh.
They're going to try to do another one, so hopefully it moves in that direction where you have the draw, you have the event, because they make all the custom belts now, so they have some kind of draw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
U.S. Open.
Yep.
That's always really cool. That's really high level competition too. Big money on the line. I like seeing that stuff.
Yep. Same here.
So what's your goals down the road? I know you were talking about that 500 bench. You said you'd be good just hanging it up once you hit that.
Yeah, that was a game plan. So that might change up. So my best bench ever in a competition was 407 and a half. And then before I had surgery, like I was tripling a 450 in the gym. So like I think I would have been good for about a 430, 435 at the time. So once I get to that peak, it's basically 500. And then I'm watching what the 181 pounders are doing right now. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I want to retire, but it might not be time yet.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, even if you did, are you truly retired? I mean, you're still going to be lifting, right?
yeah.
And it's like, you just can't back off. It's really tough. It's got to be tough.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm purposely going to back off because I'm retired, quote unquote. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was telling you, my number, I kind of always wanted to just really ride out towards that 1,000. And then I'm like, once you finish that, why not just go for the extra 100? You know what I mean? It's tough to just call it quits.
Yeah. Man, I've watched so many guys that when they call it quits, like they don't work out ever again. Or if they do, they might go in and do a set of abs or something. Yeah, that doesn't sound like fun to me.
You know what I'd have to do probably? I'd have to transition over to something different. I'd have to do a complete different style of lifting.
Yeah.
Whatever
another
it may
competitive
be.
outlet.
I don't want.
Right.
I don't want to say it would be like CrossFit or strongman or weightlifting. I don't want to pinpoint it, but I'd have to do something different. I've actually been intrigued by jiu-jitsu lately. Maybe go a whole different route and just train for a sport again.
Right. Yeah.
Could be anything, but just pushing the heavy weights. I think that time to go.
Yeah. Be like who was it? It was Sean Latimer, and I think Scott Mendelson have gone into arm wrestling.
Yeah, it could be anything really.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
getting out of the heavy lifting.
Yep.
I always plan to coach. I got plans to coach for as long as I'm around right now. But always be engaged in powerlifting. But who knows where it'll take you? Don't want to write anything off.
Yeah.
So. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show there. I know it was really fortunate we could get you over here, do some filming, recording. So definitely make sure you guys check out the YouTube. We can see some of Zach's content we filmed tonight. See him take some weight in the boards and the things we talked about will most certainly be up there on the YouTube. Do you have anything we can follow you at? You do Instagram, Facebook, none of that?
Nope. No, not at all.
He's
like
a ghost, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I do Facebook just so I can, Facebook stalk because that's the going thing now, But other than that, yeah, no.
All right, so maybe you guys could stalk him back, but that's he's a ghost. You ain't following him, but you can follow his content on our YouTube. We'll push some of that stuff up. I'm sure on the Instagram you get snips as well. All right, so thanks for coming down again. And you know where to find us. You know, at Big Benchas on Instagram, YouTube. Listen to this podcast, please. 5-star review helps a ton. You know, you guys sharing all that stuff helps a ton. We really, really appreciate that. Make sure you comment too and engage with us. Love to hear from you. At Small Arm Leg Strong. Joke is he never posts. So no worries in following him. You can, you cannot. No one cares.
We're building it up. It's happened. It's slow progress.
He might have got one post out during the start of this in May. All right, you have been listening to the Benchcast.